Welcome to Math Disabilities Part 1. Please adjust your speakers and advance to the next slide. Learning math can be a challenge. Many people feel that they just don't get math, and in many ways, math is like learning a new language. However, for most people, math skills can be learned. Think about when you were 16 and got your license. You probably thought you were a good driver then, but now as you look back, you realize that you weren't. Today, your driving skills are much better than they were when you were a teenager. You became a better driver through regular practice. Math is much the same. Most people can learn the language of math and become proficient at it through regular practice. However, a very, very small percentage of the population can't. This small group has a disability in the area of math. This disability is not because of low intelligence or a lack of experience with math. Instead, it is a brain-based condition that can be addressed. You may have heard of a reading disability called dyslexia. One type of math disability also has a name. Dyscalculia is the name of one type of math disability. Dyscalculia is defined as difficulty in learning, comprehending, and remembering arithmetic. Let me share with you some examples of the things that people with dyscalculia struggle with. First of all, in the area of counting. If I asked you how many sandals were here, you'd say 4. If I asked you how many pairs of sandals, a person with a math disability might struggle to group those into different sets for counting. People with math disabilities may also struggle with analog clocks and watches. They may have great difficulty determining what time it is on this clock. The addition of numbers or numerals on the face of this clock typically only adds to the person's confusion. Estimating is another area that people with math disabilities may have problems with. If I asked you to tell me how many pats of butter are in this picture, you would probably give a fairly accurate estimate, even though you can't see every pat. A person with dyscalculia typically has difficulty with this type of task. If the estimating task becomes more complex, the person with a math disability often becomes even more frustrated. For example, if I asked you to tell me how many strands of white lights are on this ornament, you would count the strands that are visible and, using what you know about spheres, give me a reasonably accurate estimate. A person with a math disability probably would either guess or just stop trying. Maps can also be difficult for people with math disabilities. They may struggle to mentally turn the map to face their current direction rather than the common north is toward the top orientation. They also tend to have difficulty with both understanding and giving directions. For people with dyscalculia and other math disabilities, it is a new language that is both frustrating and at times overwhelming. Children with this challenge often stop trying. Others may act out or disrupt class because they would rather get in trouble and be removed from class than face this new language that is a mystery to them. Adults with math disabilities may have limited social interactions with other adults for fear of someone finding out that they are unable to calculate, estimate, or have a good sense of direction. So how can you help people with math disabilities? Well, the old ways of teaching math won't work. We already know that. Since math disabilities never go away, we have to help with new ways of providing information, practicing the tasks, and measuring the results. New ways to help people understand the concepts and, more importantly, to understand that they are not their disability. This is a photo of a bladeless hand dryer. For over a century, electric fans have always had blades. That's just how it was. But this uses something called Bernoulli's principle to produce much more airflow without blades. No blades to clean, no wire cage to clean, just air. It took new ways of thinking to make this happen, and I'm going to share with you some new ways of thinking about math to help those who have dyscalculia and other math disabilities. One simple way to help is to turn the lined classroom paper on its side. This provides columns for doing calculations and helps students stay more organized. Try it with paper of different colors. Graph paper may also be helpful in this. Another way to help is to always start with concrete examples. With the addition of a couple of math symbols, these windows are a concrete way to begin introducing the concept of addition. Also, try to provide a distraction-free work environment. Lots of visual and/or auditory stimulation can reduce a person's ability to focus on a task. For example, if I asked you to count how many branches are here in this picture, you could probably do it, but it would take some time. If I reduced the visual clutter by asking you to only count the dark brown branches, you would probably be able to accomplish the task much more quickly and accurately. And it would be even easier if I used this image. People with math disabilities often struggle with telling which of two numbers is larger. This is especially true when dealing with fractions and decimals. In this two-part question, the student got the answer correct. While the reason the student gave for the second answer isn't what the teacher was expecting, it may not be incorrect. People with math disabilities often have well-developed imaginations, possibly as a form of cognitive compensation for the mathematical problems. That imagination can be used to help motivate and encourage the student. Games can also be used to keep students engaged. The traditional game of hopscotch can be used in a number of ways. For example, using only odd or even numbers in the squares. I mentioned earlier that these students often also have great difficulty with estimation. They could estimate the dimensions of the hopscotch layout, then play a few games, and then revise their estimate. Finding new and creative ways to help people with math disabilities is a challenge, but an extremely rewarding one. You have an opportunity to help them learn this new language of math, and that will help them see into a much brighter future. If you would like more information about this or other topics, please contact me.